Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40k Universe. I am your host, Gersh1, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue talking about the Dark Eldar as we get into the Dark City of Kamara. If you have not checked out Part 1, please click on the link above or below. That's going to take you to Part 1. And with that said, let's get into 40 Facts About Kamara. Within the inner rings that surround the Dark City's core can be found the oldest noble houses. Descendants of the architects of the fall, they live in massive mansions that are crested by citadels full of proud aristocratic warriors. Sorrowfell, the largest of these city-states, can trace its lineage to the ancient Eldar. It surrounds a massive headland that leads into the region known as Korspur. 13 screaming statues of Supreme Overlord Vek stand sentinel over the Sorrowfell, each representing one of the foundations of vengeance, serving as a stark reminder that even the most powerful of Dark Eldar noble houses was ultimately undone by raw intellect. Alendrak is one of the Dark City's ancient city-states that has literally fallen into shadow, existing in more than one dimension at once. Here, amongst the velvet domes, the dreaded mandrakes make their lairs, bathing in the darkness. The outskirts of Alendrak give way to the bone middens of the witch cults, a district buried under mounds of calciferous matter. Here can be found massive ossuaries of millions of skeletons, representative of each sentient species in existence, ranging in size from insects to massive colossi, positioned in grim mock battles. They stand throughout the middens as a testament to the Dark Eldar status as the apex predator of the galaxy. Beneath these inner districts are the weapon and food factories of the city that are massive in scale. They spread outward and downward into the lower spires underneath the old city. Each year, these factories ravenously consume millions of workers and slaves. Humans, orcs, Tau, and even other Dark Eldar are amongst these numbers. Divisions of cruel taskmasters watch over their charges, each of which is locked in a murderous rivalry with their peers. The world beneath the old city puts out a massive amount of output of war material, allowing the Dark Eldar war machine to wage its ceaseless war against all intelligent species in real space. Without such labor performed on such a massive scale, the Dark City would soon be forced to feed upon itself. The impossibly high structure of the Dark City's upper regions are the province of the warrior elites. 1,000-foot idols of Kabbalite archons and drakons stand incomplete amongst the spiraling starscapes that vanish beyond sight. Blood continuously drips down the highest spires in the squall of the Red Raid. Slaves are forced to crawl across the facade of titanic buildings, suspended in near invisible webs as they labor to carve titanic likeness of their cruel masters. Further towards the core, the central mass of towers, statues, and spires form a close-packed theater of inter-Kabbalite war. Mercenaries and armored bounty hunters, clad in segmented ghost plates, move stealthily under the vaulted arches, stalking those with a high price on their head. The background that exists above the thickets of spires and towers play host to the deadly world of the Scourgers, terrifying aerial predators, as well as the lightning-fast jet bike pilots who hunt them for sport. Though most of High Kamara is controlled under the iron rule of the Kabbalite masters, this volatile region is firmly under the control of these aerial apex predators. Those who dwell in the areas of High Kamara consider themselves blessed and have little but contempt for those who fester in what they scornfully term Inelth, the necropolis below. Further down into the murks of Kamara lies the Middle Darkness, an area plagued by Hellion gangs. These sky-boarded riding rebels fly through the foul air in great swarms and attack on sight. Though these gangs are known to be feral and wild, they are not adverse to allying with the Cabals for the right price, when a real space raid is in the offering. The witch cults of the Dark Eldar stage displays of ultra-violence in the massive arenas built in their lofty citadels and razor-edged ziggurats, allowing the citizens of High Kamara to feed upon the acts of murder and killing refined to the level of an art form. These multi-level structures are clustered with barbed stages upon which thousands of warriors and slaves meet a gruesome end. The arena spectators observe from ornate thrones or from anti-gravity pleasure craft, drinking in the pain from the thrilling unsafe distance. Witches are paragons of physical perfection, and the sirens and succubi that rule over them are supernaturally adept at the art of deadly death. as opposed to not deadly death, I guess, I don't know. The ruling archons of the Cabals know that without the imaginative displays of killing put on by the witch arenas, Dark Eldar society would soon collapse in order to slake their eternal thirst for suffering. This practice of feeding the populace of High Kamara with regular displays of bloodletting is known amongst the archons as the Lith Antu Klav, the knife that stays the blade. Around the peaks of the witch houses are the toroid arenas, elaborately curved racetrack complexes, famous for their death races. Cliques of elite jet bike pilots known as Reavers take part in fighting battles at breakneck speeds around curvilinear interiors of each arena, hurtling past the traps and moving blades of each deathscape, careening into each other with their custom-bladed crafts, and mowing down those nearby with blasts from their sophisticated weaponry. These jet bike pilots are a thing to be scared of. The underworld that lies beneath Kamara is an exceptionally dangerous place. It is the domain of the homunculi, a twisted brotherhood of torturers and monsters, so ancient and thoroughly steeped in evil that their continued existence requires daily acts of torment. The seedy underside of Kamara is host to almost as many edifices and spires as the top. Clustered together, these spires are often hollowed out by controlled acts of destruction in order to form cavernous layers. Within these deadly complexes, the homunculi run their trade, dealing body modifications, flesh crafting, drug distillation, and beauty elixirs. Oftentimes, homunculi of similar bent create covens, which occupy a vast majority of the cells and laboratories under the core. Here they practice their vile experiments, torturing the unfortunate that fall into their clutches, and savoring their endless torment and pain like a fine meal. Most homunculi covens dwell at the bottom of the spire-edge pits beneath their core. At the heart of each spiraling labyrinth, the eldest of the most vile homunculi dwell at the heart, reveling in epic depravity of their own inventions. In the depths of Kamara's central undercore, in a region known only to a selected few, stands a massive circular metal door. This door is known as Cain's Gate. It is emblazed with glowing runes of warding, bound shut with chains of super-dense star steel. For millennia, since the time of the fall of the Eldar, it has remained this way. Beyond Cain's Gate lies the madness of the warp, a hideous rent in the otherwise smooth fabric of the webway that can never be stitched shut or severed. The consequence of the Dark City would be dire indeed were Cain's Gate ever to be breached, for Kamara would be open to the realm of the warp and the hellish denizens within. The demons of the Immaterium would love to feast upon the souls of the Dark Eldar as readily as they would upon the galaxy's more benevolent people. This is but a fraction of the surreal sights and landscapes scattered across through Kamara. Around the Rift of Dead Hope, pillars of bone reach up to form a makeshift bridge into the Pale Fortress. In the City of Titans, enormous statues enact historical assassinations and coups. Vitreous Heap is filled to capacity with piles of glass and body parts, sorted into landscapes of limbs, torsos, and heads. And in the bleak wilds of Iron Thorn, the choking gut clouds of the red smog bring the corpses of the cursed back to life. Cyclopean gates of crackling jade fire link one realm to another, guarded by the most vigilant warriors. There is no end to the depth of the Dark City, just as there is no end to the chilling depravity of its occupants. And those were 40 facts about Kamara. Kamara seems like a pretty swell place to vacation, not so much to live. Of course, don't bring any sunscreen because you won't need it. And instead of a swimsuit, probably bring weapons. A lot of weapons because you're going to need it to survive. Part 3 is going to go over the daily life of a Dark Eldar, so subscribe to the channel to get that. And these stories just give me more ideas to create creepypastas. So if you want to get those creepypastas, don't forget to support us on Patreon. A simple $1 a month gives you some extra videos like creepypastas and some other stuff too. Check us out there. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. By you guys liking our videos, you're telling YouTube you like Warhammer 40k content. So what it starts doing is not only does it suggest Warhammer 40k content from us, but also from Vaults of Terra, Mini Wargaming, a bunch of other awesome YouTubers. And at the same time, it tracks the terms that you use. So like, for instance, if you like this video for Kamara, and Vaults of Terra or Mini Wargaming did something along the lines of Kamra or Dark Eldar, they would actually suggest that stuff. I found out, it's something that I kind of knew, but now I'm seeing it a lot more with YouTube. I don't know if they changed their algorithms, but it's something pretty cool. So keep that in mind. Whenever you like a video, you're not only helping the person who created the video, but you're helping yourself by introducing or telling YouTube to introduce more content like this. With that said, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.